Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We are not even 48 hours in to this transfer portal window officially being open. Mario Cristobal, the Miami Hurricanes, already starting to make some noise, which should come as no surprise. I want to start with five-star defensive lineman Keyshawn Silver. Many of y'all know I'm a Michigan fan, and so Michigan and Miami are in the top four for Keyshawn Silver. I personally have some mixed feelings about Keyshawn Silver. So we're going to get into that. I would love to hear from a Miami Hurricanes fan's perspective how we're feeling about Keyshawn Silver. Now, before we get into a few other names that will be visiting Miami, and then I'm going to throw in a few names that I really like to fit for the Miami Hurricanes. Just want to say thank you to you guys, to the Miami Hurricane fans. I say it all the time, whether we're talking the recruiting trail, whether we're talking the transfer portal, the amount of support y'all continue to show to the boys, it continues to be amazing. Can't thank you guys enough. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. A lot of commitments to break down over the next couple of weeks. Without further ado, let's start at, I think first let's open up from a bird's eye view. Where do we think Miami goes? The quarterback position is certainly a question mark. This is my prediction. I think the quarterback that Miami might be going after maybe isn't even in the transfer portal right now. Kind of similar to how Miami kind of moved in silence a little bit with Cam Ward. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how the Miami Hurricanes take this one again. And all of a sudden, that selling point for quarterbacks, it gets a little bit better. I mean, if you're a transfer portal quarterback and you just saw the success Cam Ward had, he's going to New York City as a Heisman finalist, going to be a first-round NFL draft pick, that's going to sell itself to the next quarterback that wants to come to this Miami Hurricanes program. And that's not counting out a guy like Emory Williams. Y'all know how I feel about Luke Nickel coming in as a true freshman. I don't know if he'll be ready year one, but that I think is a young stud in that quarterback room. Wouldn't be surprised if Miami's kind of moving in silence at the quarterback spot. Goal number 2 is revamping the secondary, a dramatic overhaul of the personnel. Yes, I've been very vocal. I think this Miami Hurricanes defense was poorly coached, and I think that showed up in the secondary. But let's be honest, they didn't have the personnel either. I mean, outside of OJ Frederic, I don't know how many Miami Hurricane secondary members I trust going into 2025. And that's not to say Zaquan Patterson doesn't get better coming out of his true freshman year, but you want some proven commodities in that secondary room. I don't think Miami's going to spare any expense. And you're already seeing them get active. We're going to talk about a few names. They're going to try to improve that position group. Let's start with the top, Keyshawn Silver. Here's my take on Keyshawn Silver. He is 6'4", 336 with the functional athleticism this kid has, 7'1" wingspan. These guys don't grow on trees. And you want to see Miami add a body like Keyshawn Silver going into 2025. My question is the juice worth the squeeze on Keyshawn Silver? I don't think Keyshawn Silver is a bad player in any stretch of the imagination. I don't know if he's a game wrecker. And the thing is, we've seen him for 4 years. Started his first 2 years at UNC, transferred to Kentucky for the last 2 years. He's been solid. I wouldn't say he's a game wrecker. And at a certain point, you can't just keep talking about potential. You talk about the potential of Keyshawn Silver. Well, why haven't we seen that the first 4 years? And so if you're talking about Keyshawn Silver coming out of high school, if he was just a year one guy, yeah, 100% bet on those trades. But after 4 years of college football, are we going to continue to talk about potential and value that over the production that we've seen on the football field? As a Michigan fan, if Keyshawn Silver comes to Michigan or Miami, yeah, I'd be fired up for whatever program gets him. Because, again, that potential's there, but is it worth all the resources that it's going to cost Miami to go out and get Keyshawn Silver? That's my question. And that's the question Mario Cristobal has to figure out when he's recruiting Keyshawn Silver. And I think what shouldn't be left out of the conversation is don't forget that 2024 class that Miami recruited. Guys like Justin Scott and Armando Blunt and Artavius Jones, potentially Keem Mesidor coming back. A guy like Moten I thought played very well to end the season. There are some bodies, some young bodies that are getting better that I like within this program currently. And so I think that's the conversation. And Mario Cristobal and that defensive staff will know. Like, is Justin Scott or Armando Blunt, are they going to be ready going into 2025? That's my take on Keyshawn Silver. Certainly would be fired up if it happens. I just don't know if it's going to be worth all the resources that whatever team gets him has to put into him. Moving on to another position that has kind of emerged as a little bit of a, I wouldn't say concern, but I think Mario Cristobal wants to add a center. And you've seen Mario Cristobal do this the last 2 years with Lee and then with Zach Carpenter this year. Now, Tyler Mercer's a little bit different because he's not experienced like Matt Lee and Zach Carpenter were, but Tyler Mercer, as a true freshman last year, was very, very good. I mean, PFF grades him out extremely well. 359 pass per opportunities, only gave up 3 pressures, 0 sacks as a true freshman at the G5 level. That's impressive. And the advantage of getting Tyler Mercer is you get him in. You're not looking for a center next year either because he's going to be on this team in 2026. I guess this is not me not supporting this move. I like Tyler Mercer a lot, and they went and offered him. I don't think he's scheduled a visit yet. The experience, I think Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes have valued experience at the center position. So they opt for a guy like from Liberty, Jordan White, who I think Jordan White I like for 2 different reasons. One, he's played over 2,200 snaps. More importantly, gives you that center guard versatility. We'll see where Miami decides to go. It's pretty clear that they're looking to add a center. I think I'd prefer Jordan White with Tyler Mercer. And I got to buzz a little bit more of this kid's film. The grades as a true freshman are extremely impressive. Let's go to the secondary. This is, in my opinion, the main event for the Miami Hurricanes in the portal. Emmanuel Carnley, going to be visiting, I believe, Tuesday morning for the Miami Hurricanes. Look, 6'3", $185, like a long kid, and has played a decent time. That's one of the things that you kind of got to talk about with Emmanuel Carnley. He's only played 369 snaps last year, was kind of a spot starter, rotational guy for Arizona. Is he the known commodity that you're looking for in the cornerback room is probably my question. You know, you take a look at a guy like Ezekiel Maces, who at Miami is not offered, to my knowledge, or set up a visit. But I look at him coming from FIU, played over 1,900 snaps, has faced over 138 targets in his career. That's a guy that I would look to add. Like, if I'm the Miami Hurricanes, I like some of the young talent that I have in the secondary room, but I need proven commodities coming in 2025 to kind of bridge that gap. If some of the young cats surpass a guy like Ezekiel Maces, then you feel pretty good about him. But you kind of know you have a bona fide solid starter with Ezekiel. And I look at Emmanuel Carnley and say, that to me seems like a more of a potential guy. You're putting a little bit more stock in what he can be than what he is. I think if I'm Miami trying to address the secondary, give me the guys that I kind of know what I'm going to get in the transfer portal. Here's another name that I think will be visiting Miami later this week, and I like this kid a lot, Chasen Johnson. Was a true freshman at UCF in 2024. Played a lot of football, 452 snaps. It's hard to get on the football field as a true freshman at the cornerback spot. OJ Frederick did it for Miami last year. Graded out exceptionally well. Tackling was a little bit of a concern, which is normal for a true freshman. Him showing what I think is interesting about a guy like Chasen Johnson is you're getting a guy that has shown he can play at a high level at the Power 4 level, but also a guy that could be really, really good. We normally see cornerbacks make jumps in year 2 and year 3. So you're getting a known commodity, in my opinion, but you're also getting a guy that could take that next step in his second year of college football, kind of like what we're expecting from OJ Frederick. This one would make a lot of sense for me if I'm a Miami Hurricane fan. And then the last one I want to talk about, this is a my guy, TJ Metcalf. I think the safety position is also worth looking at. Jaden Harris said, I think you're looking to upgrade the safety position. Let's just put it that way. TJ Metcalf played a lot of football the first 2 years of his career at Arkansas. Was kind of a spot starter in 2023 as a true freshman. Then in 2024, 730 snaps. He spent 300 of those as a box safety, another 300 of those as a free safety, played a little nickel as well. So you're getting a versatile piece that you can put all kind of across the back end of a defense. Only misses 12% of his tackles, which is something you're certainly looking for as well. And he's only going into year 3. So you're getting, again, a guy that's played a lot of football, has shown he can play football in the SEC, and potentially a guy that's even still developing. You know, these are the guys that I'm kind of looking for, known commodities with a little bit of upside. You know, the difference between TJ Metcalf and a guy like Emmanuel Carnley is not necessarily a known commodity. He's got some upside, but he's not a known commodity. TJ Metcalf kind of blends that. Same thing with Chasen Johnson from UCF. They blend, hey, you know you can play because we've seen you do it, but you're also a young cat. that could get better. Those are kind of the guys that I'd be looking for if I'm a Miami Hurricane fan trying to update or upgrade this secondary. The wide receiver position has been getting a lot of buzz. And look, there's a ton of talented wide receivers, and I would not be surprised to see Miami pursue at least one of them just because there's so many good ones available. I'm kind of putting stock in my development of the wide receiver position. Yes, you lose Xavier Shepard and Jacoby George. I got a lot of faith in Isaiah Horton. Love JoJo Trader, Nycart coming out of high school. I think you got some young studs in this wide receiver room that you can rely on. So maybe add one, but again, is that a position we should be, wouldn't say wasting, but spending a ton of time and energy on? That's probably the question I would have with the wide receiver spot. But again, there are a lot of wide receivers that I'd like to see in the Shannon Dawson offense in 2025. That's for sure. We'll keep updating it as it goes. Just a little bit of a primer early on in the transfer portal cycle. I would expect some more waves to be made over the next couple of days. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.